Hey guys, and what's going on? This is Wits here, and I am back with another DDL team building video. And as you can tell, I got face cam now. How's everybody doing? And for those of you who don't know about this league, this is the Dawn Draft League that hosted by Sierra Dawn and her mods. Can't thank them enough for the invitation again. And I'm looking forward to my battle this week against WaywardStroge. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, sorry. And his East Carolina Shockers. As you can see, our matchup is on the screen with his team on this side over here. Mine is the Philadelphia Flygons. We are currently 1-1, and our team is on this side right over here. So as you can see, Stroge has the Venusaur, Torkoal, Primarina, Glastrier, Regirock, Scrafty, Togedemaru, Noivern, Unpheasant, Stoutland, and Mr. Rhyme. So a couple of things that immediately stand out. Torkoal, Venusaur, very deadly combo. Venusaur in the Sun, in particular, is just a nuke and a half. With Chlorophyll as an ability, it doubles its speed. Much like Driftblim with its Unburden, the second the item gets procced, Venusaur just has it instantly in the Sun, no matter what. Glastrier, Regirock, two very, very big Trick Room hitters. And his only Trick Room setter is Mr. Rhyme, down there at the bottom, the Ice Psychic type. So I can definitely see that coming into play. Something I'm also very worried about is an Unpheasant, surprisingly enough, against, well, my team in particular, but not just the team you see here, but the team that I decided to bring this week. Scarf Unpheasant kind of puts in the work, so I'm very scared of that thing. It's kind of why I brought a couple of Mons in particular just to handle Unpheasant. But Noivern, very fast Tailwind user. Frisk, so they can kind of scout my items, so I can definitely see that coming into play. Togedemaru and Scrafty for fake out. If they decide to leave Togedemaru ahead of Scrafty, then I could be in a little bit of an issue with a particular lead that I think that they're going to go for. But if not, then I think we'll be in the clear. And yeah, that's basically it for their team. Primarina is a big nuke. I'm fully expecting that to come. So the main six that I think they're going to bring are Venusaur, Torkoal, Primarina, Glastrier, Unpheasant, and Mr. Rhyme. I don't think the fake out users are coming, but if they do, then either Primarina or Unpheasant would be put on the back burner for one of those fake out users. I can see either Regirock or Glastrier. I don't see both coming to this matchup, but that's mainly my team breakdown for against these Carolina Shockers. My team, which you see over here, it's very offensively powered and very, very good outside of Trick Room. So that's my main goal, is to make sure that that Trick Room doesn't get set up and that Venusaur doesn't have a field day. Those are my two kind of biggest worries. So why don't we go into my team right over here, and we can kind of break down what I'm bringing this week, and the kind of the test battles and preparation that I did in order to make sure that I have the best possible chance to win against the East Carolina Shockers this week. So starting us off, as you can see here, we have Naganadel, Sean Couturier, our two-way forward here, going on the offensive front today as opposed to the defensive. I'm going with Choice Scarf this week. I had to be sure to outspeed the things I needed to outspeed. Now, because of Venusaur's speed stat, I cannot outspeed it in the Sun. But I guarantee outspeed it outside of the Sun, so that's very good. And I'm running 252 modest, 180 speed to guarantee that I outspeed a Scarf Togedemaru or a +1 from Airstream Togedemaru. 68 HP, 4 defense, and 4 special defense. That's kind of just the rest of the leftover EVs thrown into those spots. Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, Air Slash, and Draco. Now, the main reason why I'm running Flamethrower over Heat Wave is because in the Sun, Flamethrower has a chance to OHKO Venusaur straight up. Max Flare, in particular, does like 119% minimum. And Heat Wave, if I were to combine it with the Expanding Force from Indeedee, which you'll see from the next Mon, Heat Wave plus Expanding Force would not kill Venusaur even in the Sun, which is kind of crazy, but that's what spread damage does. It splits the damage in half for the two Mons. So I ran Flamethrower for the accuracy. Fire Blast would have been good as well, but I needed the accuracy. Sludge Bomb hits the Primarina as well as its main stab Air Slash for the max Airstreams if I decide to max Naganadel, and then just flinches if I need to get flinches, but I don't want to try and stoop to that level. And then Draco Meteor, hard hitting stab move. Air Slashers also hit the Scrafty. Sorry, I forgot to mention that as well. Air Slash hits the Scrafty. And then Draco, just to completely nuke something that's not named Primarina. I am expecting Naganadel to put in a decent amount of work this week. I said that last week, and we saw what happened with it only getting maybe one kill, if that, because Indeedee took over the show. Speaking of Indeedee, bringing Oscar Lindblom again, this time with a Focus Sash. Expanding Force, Dazzling Gleam, Terrain Pulse, Ally Switch. I'm mainly just here to click Expanding Force again this week. Terrain Pulse is if I need to take care of Regirock or Primarina, and the Rillaboom is in, overriding the Psychic Terrain with Grassy Terrain, then Terrain Pulse becomes a base 100 power Grass move. So that can be something that could just catch my opponent off guard and just take him out if I need to. Dazzling Gleam for the Scrafty. Again, Scrafty can be a really big problem. Fighting Dark and Ice coverage covers my entire team. So, yeah, that was kind of an oversight on my part when I drafted. But you can see how I kind of balance it out with the rest of my team. So Ally Switch is really just there if I need to just click it. It's mainly just going to be as an offensive presence, but Ally Switch is literally just there if I need to try and be a little cheeky. So that's Indeedee, 244 speed, just enough speed to outspeed Unpheasant that is not Scarfed. So any Jolly Unpheasant I will automatically outspeed with Indeedee. 252 attack, and then the 4 in each of the defensive stats for the kind of the aftermath. Next up, we have Joel Farabee, the Urshifu. It's an Adamant Choice Banded one this week. I wanted to run Jolly to outspeed an Unpheasant, but and a Togedemaru, but I couldn't afford to. I needed the power. So I'm hoping that the rest of my mons this week, as well as a potential max Airstream, or if I just click Sucker Punch, is enough. He does have a relatively slow team outside of those very few mons that I described already. So Urshifu can come in as an Adamant Nature and just put in more damage. Adamant Choice Band puts in a ton of work. Close Combat and Wicked Blow, its main 2 stab moves. Sucker Punch for the priority if I need to. Again, if it's not in Psychic Terrain, I just have to be 100% sure I'm not in the Psychic Terrain before clicking Sucker Punch. And then Poison Jab is for the Primarina, which otherwise would wall this set. Standard, max HP, max attack, max speed. 4 in defense. I like having odd HP numbers. That's just me. I should have put it in HP, but it's just, that's how I work, is just with odd HP numbers for hazards, but that's from singles. And it's something I need to kind of get out of my brain when it comes to doubles. Next up, we have Claw Giroux, our captain, Rillaboom. This week with a weakness policy and acrobatics, because that can put in a lot of work if I get that +2 plus acrobatics, even a max Airstream from acrobatics, Fake Out and Grassy Glide, and Knock Off. Now, Rillaboom here, this was the mon that was causing me the biggest amount of issues while building. I had about 3 different Rillaboom sets, and then going over in practice with one of my good pals, Matando, he kind of pointed out a few things which made a lot of sense. I originally had Woodhammer over Grassy Glide, because I'm going to be faster than the majority of his team anyway, but if they end up getting the Trick Room, I'm going to need Grassy Glide. And then Knock Off. Utility is so good. Knock Off is a really good move that just gets rid of their items. It can do both scout as well as do damage. And Knock Off, it does work against the Mr. Mime, and that's the biggest thing, is I need to be sure that Mr. Mime cannot set up Trick Room. So that's why the Fake Out is there. Fake Out used to be high horsepower, and Knock Off used to be high horsepower. Grassy Glide used to be Woodhammer. And we just kind of were playing around with these sets to try and get the best outcome. 220 speed outspeeds a max speed Venusaur outside of the sun. So no sun, Rillaboom automatically outspeeds. I can hit it with an acrobatics. High horsepower was going to be there for the Torkoal, but I'm hoping that the rest of my mons can come in and put in the work against Torkoal before it has the chance to really do anything. And yeah, that's basically it for Rillaboom. Next up, we have Provorov, our G-Max Lapras, the defender of the team, again running the Assault Vest. It's not going to be a staple. It's not always going to have Assault Vest. It just happens that the first 3 weeks this season, Assault Vest was just the best item for Lapras. Lapras is known for running weakness policy and with Sing and a whole bunch of other stuff, but now I'm using it more for its defensive capabilities and being able to attack on the offensive front. The past couple weeks you've seen it be fully defensive, but this week it's an offensive Assault Vest. Max HP, 76 special defense, and then 180 special attack, modest nature. And the main reason for that is that Weather Ball. Weather Ball and Freeze Dry, both of which do a ton of work to Glastrier and Venusaur respectively. In the sun, Weather Ball has a chance from Max Flare to kill a Venusaur. Outright if it stays neutral and I stay neutral, Weather Ball does about 70 to 88% to a Venusaur that is not invested. Freeze Dry does a little bit less, but Gmax Resonance is the thing that can kill the Venusaur. Freeze Dry is also there for the Primarina, Hydro Pump for Torkoal, Regirock, and to change the weather in case I don't want Sun or Sandstorm there. And Weather Ball is a pretty interesting tech where it becomes a fire move in the sun, a rock move in the sand, a water move in the rain, an ice move in the hail, and it has its different max move coincides with the weather as well. So I will get Max Flare from the sun, Max Rockfall from the Sandstorm, Max Geyser from the rain. So it just boosts it that much more powerfully. It becomes a base 130 max move as opposed to a Freeze Dry, which is 110. Hydro Pump, I think, is also 130, maybe 140, so Weather Ball could be as good as Hydro Pump in the rain. And then Ice Shard is there to proc the weakness policy on Rillaboom. That's why you have the 0 IVs in attack. I want to do as little damage as possible to Rillaboom. But as you also heard in my team builder for Week 1, my opponent there also had a Noivern. Stroge is from a different draft, so we have multiple of the same mons throughout the whole kind of league. So this is an outer division match. So he also has a Noivern. And Ice Shard from 0 IV, 0 EV, negative nature Lapras does 50% minimum to Noivern. So it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO no matter what. Sucker Punch plus Ice Shard guaranteed kills that thing. If I decide to lead Lapras or Shifu if they go for the Noivern lead. So that's the biggest thing for that Ice Shard. And that's also the biggest thing for the Lapras. It's Shell Armor this week. I couldn't run Water Absorb for Primarina. I had to run the Shell Armor because, again, I'm very, very worried about Crit Unpheasant. Scarf Unpheasant in particular, but Crit is just insane. It has Super Luck. It can run Scope Lens, just like the Togekiss from last week. But we will see how this one works, as it's more offensive as opposed to defensive. But last but not least, we have Connect Knee, the Porygon Zed. And that item, Safety Goggles, it had to be there. Venusaur is such a big issue, especially if it gets Sleep Powders off. That's why my main lead this week is going to be Rillaboom plus Porygon Zed to guarantee that nothing can get Sleep Powdered. If their lead is Venusaur Mr. Rime, which was the main thing that I was practicing against, they could swap in the Mr. Rime for Sun and go for Sleep Powders or go for an attack. If they go for the attack, Rillaboom has a decent chance to live. But if it's Modest Life Orb, then it's a guaranteed kill. Timid Life Orb, it's a small chance for me to live, but I will at least get the damage off that I need to. And Max Strike from Porygon Zed, if the Venusaur doesn't max, guaranteed kills the Venusaur as well. So I can take that out and fake out the Mr. Rhyme side to make sure Trick Room doesn't get up, and on the following turn take care of the Mr. Rhymes so that with the Venusaur already gone. So we'll see if that comes into play. Porygon Zed is just strong. It's 147, so as you can see from the Rillaboom from before, it's 146. So I guarantee with Porygon Zed that I will go before the Rillaboom, and that's the big thing. If I decide to go for a knockoff or an acrobatics, Porygon Zed will go first. And that's the biggest thing. I would have put 146 for both because they both outspeed the Venusaur outside of Sun. However, I didn't want a speed tie to happen and then mess up my targets. So Porygon Zed has a little bit more speed, so I took some of it away from the special attack. Has 76 HP, 12 defense, 28 special defense. They were for specific hits. I'm not fully remembering what they were for. I believe they were from Regirocks and from Venusaurs and from Scrafties, but don't quote me on it. I just don't remember. I'm sorry. Tri-Attack for a massive hit. Ice Beam to hit the Noivern Unpheasant just a little bit harder than the Tri-Attack would. And then Hyper Beam it's Hyper Beam. Protect, I didn't have very many Protects on this team, so I wanted to be sure I had at least something with Protect. That way I can stall out the Trick Room if I need to. So yeah, that's it for the team this week. Thank you very much for joining me here in this team builder. I'm actually going to be playing my battle in about 15 minutes or so. So you will see this team builder uploaded on Monday. So hello to everybody in the future. And the battle will be posted on Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like what you saw here, please consider leaving a like and comment. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more from myself and the Philadelphia Flygons, as well as from our Royal Multi-Battle League and potentially any other things in the future. And I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day it is for you. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.